Hey, you guys, Dacia here, and welcome to Corporate Caffeine. I've got two topics that actually have a lot of consistency with them, and I'm going to start with the personal one, but then I'm going to go ahead and give you an exhaustive list of the absolute best business-to-business lead generation tactics. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive straight in. First of all, I want to give some encouragement to you guys about success. And the reason I'm tying lead generation to success, so this is personal, this is for anybody. You know, this year has not been easy for me. This is not complaining, but it really has not. It's been a really challenging year personally. And then there's just been a lot of work professionally. And a leader that I know, she says, nothing hard is easy. And it sounds a little depressing. But number one, she's right. And number two, it's an encouragement and a challenge to say, so what? So what? Because I can do hard things and you can do hard things. The number one thing I've learned in life and in this year is that do not create a narrative in your own mind and in your life when going through hard times that excuses you from making progress and then excuses you from having gratitude. Because challenging times will sharpen your edge. They will produce diamonds inside of you, but only if you let them, you guys. And so this is really, really important. If you think to your most profound moments that changed you forever, that created impact and escalation in your life, personal, professional, whatever, emotional, healing, they were probably not the easy times. They were the hard times. So why we shy away from them when we're in them anyways, just don't. And so it's not about flying through them gracefully. It's not about doing the hard times perfectly, but it is about learning. And it is about believing in yourself, believing in a power that can get you through. And it is about making sure that you do not slide into excuses. So if the outcome that you want, it might be joy, it might be money, it might be relationship, it might be potential, who knows, like fill in whatever outcome, specific outcome that you want right now or someday. If that outcome is worth it, go the distance, do what it takes, no matter what the external is happening in order to achieve that outcome, because it can happen unless you're limiting yourself. The only magic bullets in life and in marketing are consistency and perseverance. Just persistently keep moving forward. You can read the research, you can listen to the podcast gurus that do all the leadership stuff, you can listen to the most amazing CEOs in the history of the world, blah, blah, blah. They all say the same thing. Keep your head up and keep going. Get that grit mindset that produces consistency, because tiny little steps and progress every single day adds up to a mountain of achievement someday. But it happens every single day, tiny, tiny bit at a time. So progress over perfection. Do not look for shortcuts, because you're just wasting your time in regards to making real progress. And as always, I want to remind you guys, when you're thinking about your success, your organization's success, your professional success, your family success, your career success, your kids' success, your marriage success, whatever, when you're thinking about your success, the pathway to your success is your ability to serve others well, to create transformation in other people's lives. Your potential and your success is never about you. It's about what you give to the world and what impact you're able to create for other people. So be careful of navel gazing, because it is only a distraction from what is meaningful, joyful, and effective in life. So there's the personal side. And I'm going to now take all of that and we're going to move it over into B2B lead generation, because those rules still apply. Nothing hard is easy. Progress over perfection, consistency, grit, perseverance, be your best, and make sure you maintain a point of view that is a servant leadership point of view in the business world and in your business development. So I promised an exhaustive list. And so for those of you that are on the B2B side and are looking for growth and getting the phones ringing, the contact forms filled out, the pipeline filled, let's go ahead and dive in. So first of all, I want to give you a small little, I won't go off on a soapbox here, but be careful about the phrase lead generation. Very few people, actually almost no one in the business to business world has a consistent definition of a lead generation. So if you are a leader of a team or of an organization, be very careful when you say that phrase, because for some, lead generation means, as one of my friends and peers puts it, warm and informed people, people ready to buy, real human beings ready to buy. That's a lead for him. However, other people, especially marketers and people that are on the pipeline side of business development, not on the closing side of business development, a lead is anyone who told you they're interested in you and you know their name, or you have some indication of who they are. There is a huge difference, and we call those marketing qualified leads. So they are a lead, that's a real person that's interested in you, but we have not validated their ability or their timeliness to be able to purchase from you. So very different types of leads, so be very, very careful. Also, there is no single magic bullet or trick up your sleeve or poof. So all those things that you see on YouTube, all of the stories that you hear from friends about this is the one thing that changed the game, there is never a one thing, because humans do not live in a funnel, in a silo. They do not think from a one single point of view. We live in an ecosystem. We live in a whole world. And in marketing, there is an off the screen whole world, and there is an on the screen whole world. So I just like to refer that as the ecosystem. You have to live in your buyer's ecosystem. You simply have to go where they go. So be careful of thinking that one thing. Now, the more consistent you are going to get lucky that you're going to hit a certain tactic at the right time, or you're going to hit a certain amount of traction with that tactic, and it is going to accelerate your success. But then eventually that tactic will stop working, because marketing is dynamic, because humans are dynamic. We constantly change, and there is no resting on your laurels when it comes to lead generation. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the exhaustive list that I promised you. So I'm going to start at the top with the things that are closest to warm and informed leads, the people that are ready to buy and most likely to buy from you. So the very first one is paying for Google Adwords. So paid ranking on Google. These are incredibly warm leads because you're responding to things that they actually typed into the search bar. So there is intent, specific and timely intent behind them searching for something on Google. And so then you show up. So that is a lead generation tactic. Depending on your industry, this can be incredibly affordable or incredibly outlandish. So it just depends. You have to be provided the information about how much money does it take to compete. This is very important. Do not underinvest in Google AdWords, because you could just be wasting tons of money. And second of all, you can and should be given numbers that will tell you, for this dollar amount, Google says the benchmarks, the number of leads, and we call those conversions in digital world. So, and I'm going to talk about conversions in a minute, but the number of leads or conversions that you get, you should be able to know that and then track your progress against that. So Google AdWords. Along the same lines, you can do paid social media ads. So LinkedIn or Facebook, or God forbid, Twitter or Instagram. These can be for talent, side note, but if we're talking about lead generation. Now, a lot of people will say, wow, this has better targeting, so that must be a more effective. Well, the better the targeting, the more expensive it is. So just a heads up about that. When you pick platforms like social media, when you're being able to target specific personas and demographics, it does get more expensive. Here's the flip though on that, about why they're not quite as warm as a Google AdWords lead. It's because you're going after the person and you're trying to stir up their latent demand. You're trying to pique their curiosity and get them interested in your solution. They're not naturally interested. So you're showing up in Facebook or on LinkedIn, and maybe they're looking to network, or maybe they're looking for some research, or maybe they're looking to work on their personal brand, or maybe they're just being in escapism and they just need a break from work for a few minutes, and your ad is populating. So it's got to be effective enough and consistent enough to get them to start thinking, maybe I'm interested in that. So it's latent demand. It's rarely where we start, it's typically where we add on, and it does take a longer amount of time to really warm that up and create enough touches and impressions for those leads to really start getting traction. So paid social media, there are a lot of additional details and systems, best practices to do. I am going to have one of our amazing digital marketers on here to go into a deep dive on that in the future. But for right now, just know paid social media if we're going through an exhaustive list. Another really, really effective one, if this suits your business, especially if you have a service-oriented business or if your product comes from a unique point of view about the market. Speaking events and live events are incredibly effective. They take a ton of time and attention to do this well and to fill a room. It's very difficult for busy people in a busy, noisy world to give time. But when they do, they are saying in a very clear and matter-of-fact way, I'm already invested in making progress in this space. And so I'm going to spend time with you. So they are already spending on you. So speaking events and live events are incredibly effective, but again, not effective for the time strapped. And there is no shortcuts to doing these well. You really, really need to put massive planning in place to make sure that it is the most exciting event possible and that you can convert their interest into inquiry. You got to do a lot of thinking about that. So speaking in live events. And side note, again, this is about servant leadership, you guys. If you're talking to people about yourself, want, they do not care, and that will not produce lead generation. All right, number 4, cold calling and appointment scheduling. If you're like me, you're getting a million different companies saying, hey, let us book appointments for you. Honestly, some of these work. Some of these folks are really good at this. Some of the sales training programs are really good at this if they have the appropriate hunter mindset and if they are great at messaging and getting people's attention and consistency. Some of them are terrible, though. They just want your dollars for as long as you're willing to give it to them. So you got to do your research and validate that, check references, really understand, make sure that you do not abdicate responsibility around the messaging and scripting that they do when they are calling your cold prospects. And of course, this can be done in-house. It is super time intensive. So just remember, most salespeople, there are different types of personalities. I'm going to overly simplify it. So any of my sales leaders and sales trainers out there, please weigh in the comments about this. But generally speaking, you've got a couple of different sales personalities. They're the people that are amazing at hunting. They love the game and they love doing the work that it takes to get people's attention and create something out of nothing, the hunters. Then you've got the gatherers, the people that are amazing at follow-up and amazing at nurturing interest and relationship and being very good about servant leadership. Some people are great at both, but honestly, typically that's not the case. So you've got to be aware that when it comes to lead generation and sales enablement tactics, you have got to have the full spectrum in place, period, or you're just wasting all the opportunities that you generated. All right. So number 5, lead generation tactic. Now, this is a broad one. And again, we will do a deep dive all on its own in a future episode, search engine optimization, SEO. So this is about how do you rank on Google for those things that we talked about, the queries that people typed into the Google search bar, but you rank for them for free. Now, just like Google AdWords, you need some information about how likely is it that you can rank compared to your competitors? Because there's some really tough industries, hello, marketing, to do that because some of the best in the world are ranking for those. And if you have really, really large competitors, they have something called high domain authority, it's going to be very difficult. It's not impossible. You just have to be clever and you have to work with somebody that really, really understands how to do this and can show you progress. This is important, you guys. You can see SEO progress, and it's not someday. It's actually in a relatively short amount of time. So the thing about search engine optimization is just because you rank doesn't mean it's a lead, right? So a lot of times SEO is top of the funnel. These are future leads, more likely to be marketing qualified leads, and you're peaking latent demand. And so what that means is you have to have amazing content that makes your brand really, really stand out. And then you have to be thoughtful about what is something that is a converting interest into inquiry. Now, be careful with inquiry, right? We just, in this kind of thing, especially if it's top of the pipeline, we just want them to take a step closer to us. We're filling a future pipeline. So you have to give them something of high value. This is not necessarily a sales lead. It can be, but it's not necessarily. And so in regards to SEO, you've got to be thinking the long game. Some people call this total strategy of SEO plus the marketing funnel plus email and follow-up and lead scoring. So there's a whole system that needs to go behind this. They call it inbound marketing. There's a lot of other terms for that. So I'm just trying to check the boxes for you guys, but there's got to be a significant focus on conversion, a significant focus on nurture, and you can never rest on your laurels in SEO, because there is somebody waiting to take your spot right on your heels. So you have got to maintain excellence in this space. And by the way, it's good for your brand and good for your audience anyways. And so if you're going to market, you might as well be awesome at it. Go the distance, right? So I mentioned marketing funnels, and this is a little bit of a hack. Let me see. We were on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the sixth tactic that I'm talking to you about is a little bit of a segue from the last one, and that's creating marketing funnels. So marketing funnel is an amazing piece of content that is truly high value to the audience that's reading it. And then there is a call to action. You're giving them something for free. It can be a wide range of things: videos, downloads, text, tools, free versions of your products, all sorts of stuff. It's something that they really, really value. And then you nurture them with additional high value content, typically through emails, sometimes through text messaging, sometimes even through sales follow-up, depending on what kind of scenario it is. And you are helping them take a step forward in their problem solving, and you are creating a position in their mind of a servant leader and an excellent brand, a thought leader. So marketing funnels, this is about converting interest into inquiry, and marketing funnels are about conversion. The thing about conversion in all of these lead generation tactics, and especially digital and marketing funnels, is conversion can be optimized. You can continue to get more and more and more conversions if you test, and if you change things on pages, and you change language, and you watch the data. You can continue to be amazing and get more and more and more results, as well as more education, best practices for your specific company if you go the distance. Remember, I started this with saying nothing hard is easy. It's not easy. Who cares though? You need to win the marketing game. So start now and just keep getting better, because you are going to get better and you're going to get way more results doing that sooner rather than later. Look, instead of looking for those shortcuts. Okay. Number 7, partners. So there's a lot of our clients that work with channel partners, or maybe there are more loose partner affiliation programs. This can be really, really effective. However, it's not a magic bullet. Just because you find a partner that likes you and believes in what you do, you have to nurture them and maintain top of mind visibility, just like you would for your target market. It's no different. If they are sending you leads, this is not a set it and forget it. These are human beings that are putting their reputation on the line in order to refer you. You have got to do a great job. You've got to make sure that if they are a sales partner, that they are armed with the ability to sell almost as effectively as even you are. Make it easy for them to do this and make sure it's beneficial to them. So that's number 7. And then an extension of this one is referral partners. So you can do referral programs, which are paid. That's kind of a 8.5 tactics. So if we're in number 8 with referrals, you can do paid referral programs, and you can also do referral partners. So again, this goes back to the human relationship piece, where you are values aligned with someone or market aligned with someone, probably both. And it behooves them to refer you because it makes them look good. It helps them be a resource, and you do the same thing back for them, and you look for ways constantly to try to make sure that they are successful. So referrals are a lead generation tactic that you don't have to hope for and wait for, but you can do this on purpose. A little pro side is, of course, we all know that sometimes referrals come from our current client base. You guys, there's lots of cool, amazing things that you can do to delight your customers and your clients. And that maintains that top of mind delight status that creates evangelism and makes them want to refer you, not just because you delivered amazing value. I mean, that's table stakes, right? They're already giving you money to do that. So you don't deserve their referral just because you're doing what you're paid for. You have to go above and beyond, and that is why people refer you. So sometimes the going above and beyond is results that blew their expectations out of the water. Great, but sometimes it's about maintaining humanity and fun and playfulness that makes you the very best part of their job and of all of their stakeholders. Okay, number 9, this is getting a little more advanced, and this is a paid tactic. So you can do sponsored content. So basically that means your thought leadership can show up in areas where people are naturally orienting to, and there's a high level of trust and authority there from the publication or from that partner or outlet where people automatically trust. And so when you do sponsored content, again, this is high value thought leadership, but it is a paid platform. It can generate leads. Sometimes it depends on your industry. A lot of times this is very effective for software. That's typically the most common application of this. But again, you really, really have to think through the whole process. Why and how is it going to deliver leads? Why are people going to inquire to you? Why are they going to follow up? And did you make it easy to do so? So that's number 9. Number 10 is account-based marketing. Now, this is whale hunting, basically. So what you're doing is you have a small little list of clients or prospective clients, and think 20 or less, roughly speaking. And these are the type of clients that if you land even one of them, it changes the game. It is a game changer for your revenue growth, your authority, your ability to go to the next level. And typically for a lot of companies, they only need a couple of these a year if they have a balance of whales as well as other size clients, small and medium. So account-based marketing is a choreographed system of dedicated outreach to whales, to that small VIP list that you're targeting. And so it might be a combination of direct mail, digital advertising, cold calling, phone calls, and follow-up, events, invitations. It is doing everything that you can do where you are deliberately mapping sales and marketing touches to reach out to specific human beings and try to open a door into this huge accounts opportunity. So that's account-based marketing. Lots of depth in there. You can use technology, and you should be using technology in order to track the data and make sure that you're maintaining high integrity around the number of follow-ups and leads. This is follow-up intense. This is really a sales enablement practice, but it can be wildly effective, but it takes a lot of orchestration and maximum consistency and follow-up. All right, 2 more to go. So, or 3 more technically. So number 11, on number 11, I have ads. So I mean traditional ads, not digital ads. You can put ads on podcasts. Those can be very effective. You can do ads in trade publications. Generally speaking, these are very expensive. And so these are oftentimes more about visibility than conversion. But if you have a great offer, or if you are really amazing at your message, this can be an opportunity for you. Number 12, of course, is the most utilized lead generation tactic of all time for B2B. And it's coming back right now. So it, of course, is trade shows. Trade shows are very expensive. And typically what I saw pre-2020 was a lack of choreography. I would see bored sales reps after the first couple hours, their feet hurt, they're sitting down and they're not even making eye contact, trying to generate traffic and conversations. It's awkward to walk up to a trade show booth as a prospect, and you don't want to be sold. So there requires good choreography and amazing personality in your booth. And then I rarely see amazing follow-up. For trade shows to be effective, there needs to be pre-show selling and post-show follow-up. Ruthless follow-up. Leave no lead left unworked. Be good to the humans that bothered to speak to you in trade shows. So there we go. That is number 12. Now, the final one, and my final encouragement for you is, this is not really a lead generation tactic, but it kind of is. So using sales sequences and sales nurture. So pre-writing follow-ups and going to your current database, your email list, the leads that went cold or lukewarm on you, clients that no longer work with you, stakeholders, and basically beating the bushes, to get the birds to fly out of them and show themselves as possible renewed prospects again for your business. This is one of the most immediate opportunities to drive really short-term revenue and to warm that up, because at some point they were interested in you and already trusted you. So you're just re-triggering the trust that has already been built there. And this is incredibly, incredibly important. Ironically, this is one where most people are terrible at. Remember how earlier I was talking to you about their hunters and gatherers in regards to salespeople? You've got to make sure there's amazing follow-up, because there is massive opportunity hidden in your business and in your pipeline. I guarantee it, unless you are a startup. If you've been in business for any amount of time, even if it's only a year or two, there are opportunities hidden in your past, hidden in your experience, hidden in your network that are ready to listen to you and talk to you. So getting out there and making sure that you are being engaged and being an excellent servant leader in your follow-up is incredibly important. I also recommend making sure that in any of these lead generation tactics, you are arming your sales people with technology or automations or messaging that makes follow-up a guarantee. Otherwise, you are flushing all this money, opportunity, time, and attention straight down the toilet. Nothing hard is easy, but it is worth it. Start now, learn now. Stop looking for shortcuts, be amazing, and think about your lead generation as a total system. So I just gave you the dirty dozen plus the bonus. You guys, let's go. Go get some business, onward and upward.